Jamaica's heritage and our girls' contribution and challenges take the spotlight in today's magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for making it the JIS.
I remember when I didn't like school and Mommy used to have to wake me up. Tabla, hurry up. You're going to be late for school.
Hey, now that I have a tablet, you don't need to wake me up. Since Mommy and Daddy bought me a tablet, I use my tablet for all kinds of cool stuff. I use my tablet to read books. I use my tablet to learn about history and science. I use my tablet to help with my homework. I even use it to talk to my daddy at work. Hello, Daddy!
Learning is easy and fun with a tablet. Take care of your tablet, use it wisely.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 11. Government will be rolling out the National Identification System NIDS in January 2018. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave that commitment during a function yesterday. He also revealed that the project was taken to Cabinet for approval on Monday.
This project will have a transformative effect on Jamaica. What is envisioned is a cradle-to-grave biometric identification with a unique identification number being used for every Jamaican with the appropriate anti-fraud features. This system is designed to promote financial inclusion among those who are underserved by our current range of financial products and services.
Mr. Holness was addressing Monday's start of a two-day anti-money laundering counter-financing of terrorism conference. Government is more resolved to dismantle gangs and bring those responsible for the country's murder rate to justice. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the assertion following Monday's cabinet meeting, which dealt with the country's crime situation. It came in the wake of several killings on the weekend, including the incident in Marchbank St. Catherine, which left 5 people dead, 3 of them children. In a statement from the cabinet meeting, which involved a briefing from the police commissioner, Prime Minister Holness said the killings must end. He repeated similar sentiments during the anti-money laundering counter-financing of terrorism conference, asserting that the state would be working to take the profit out of crime.
Criminals must have no access to the financial system. And where they operate in the informal economy and in the backwaters of our country, we must find them and separate them from their illegal gains.
Proposed measures include amendments and reviews of the Banking Services, Proceeds of Crime and Terrorism Acts, as well as the Trust and Corporate Services Providers Bill. Jamaican firms and consumers remain more confident about the country's economic prospects in the first 3 quarters of 2016 than at any time during the prior 15 years. That's according to the third quarter business and consumer confidence indices released by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce this morning. According to the report, the business confidence index was 139.2 in the third quarter, slightly lower than the first 2 quarters of the year, but 26% higher than in the same period of 2015. Managing Director of Market Research Services Limited, Don Anderson, says the data shows that firms have remained optimistic.
They have favorable prospects for the economy. They have a positive financial outlook. They expect record profit, or put another way, record profits are expected. And they are firm in the view that this is a good time to invest in the economy.
As for consumer confidence, the third quarter index was 151.6, landing between the 155.6 and 147.9 recorded in the first 2 quarters of the year, and significantly higher than the level reported in the same period of 2015.
Consumers are showing some resilience. They have sustained the level of confidence in the economy and the way in which the economy is going. They expect growth to continue.
The Senate has approved a private member's motion proposing a ban on the use of styrofoam containers and plastic bags locally. The motion, which was mooted by Government Senator Matthew Samuda, was unanimously supported during last Friday's sitting of the Senate. Senator Samuda argued that styrofoam and plastics posed grave environmental and health concerns for Jamaica, as they take an extremely long period of time to biodegrade and comprise approximately 50% of the non-biodegradable waste generated locally.
It is not beyond Jamaicans to use reusable bags when we go to the supermarket or wholesale. It is not beyond us to ensure when we use styrofoam, it is biodegradable, or to consider other options by way of cardboard material. The argument against most of the alternatives presented is usually based in cost. But I posit today that the long-term cost of not removing these items from our waste stream is far greater. It impacts generations today and generations to come.
The motion is expected to go before a multi-stakeholder committee falling under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's Environment Portfolio, headed by Minister Daryl Vaz. And finally, it was also announced in Friday's Senate meeting that the government is to shortly establish a multi-stakeholder committee to oversee the pilot implementation of the Trash-Free Waters initiative. Launched in Jamaica in August, Trash-Free Waters is a joint undertaking between the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the United Nations Environmental Program. It's being implemented through the Caribbean Environmental Program and is intended to curtail the pollution of the Caribbean Sea. The Foreign Affairs Minister says the committee being established to oversee the project's implementation will comprise representatives of the government, private sector, academia, and civil society, among others. Activities under the initiative will include a robust public education campaign focusing on effective solid waste management and the reduction and eventual elimination of the use of plastics. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
All the people them with the Zika, hold up your hand. Zika in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send us stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. More hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No later dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing that we turn drain backer. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we all tire turn over drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies. Protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If you do all that we can to keep them away. How we now
In 2011, the United Nations approved a resolution to set aside one day each year focusing on girls. So every year on October 11, the International Day of the Girl Child focuses global attention on promoting girls' empowerment and highlighting the unique challenges they face. Today on Jamaica Magazine, we give attention to the dual realities facing our nation's girls, opportunities and obstacles. In our next feature, you'll meet a group of young ladies who are proving that they have much to offer society as they lend their talent and voices to an important message for public health. And right after, a few tips to ensure Jamaica's girls are kept safe from the unwelcome reality of sexual abuse.
Zika, Zika, Zika alert. Prevent the mosquito breeding sign. Zika, Zika, Zika alert. No matter the mosquito lights here, we're going to check inside and check outside and find everywhere where you could hide.
You know, as part of our Zika public awareness campaign, schools, of course, are part of our population that we seek to reach. And so we were thinking of an engaging way, a way to engage the students and at the same time be very creative and fun.
So, in today's show, we visit all the teams that excelled in the recently held competitions. First up, third place jingle creators, Ferncourt High School.
Zika is a virus caused and spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which can affect people, especially pregnant ladies.
They actually went and did some research so that they knew how to put in preventative measures as well as just symptoms, among other things. So the hard work has paid off.
Zika and me, hungry, Aedes aegypti follow back on me. Zika and me, hungry, Aedes aegypti follow back on me.
Them Jamaicans so bad, you see. I talk about a mosquito give. When we know if a airborne disease, when this a mosquito bite, you see. I don't talk, I want you see.
Kick over pants, bore up the tins, dash for the water out of the old fridge. I eat your fever, I eat your rash, I eat your pain in your back. If
If you know what I mean, no use up the app. Wear long clothes, no wear short. Zip me. Zip me.
We also visited the Immaculate Conception Preparatory School, where we visited the girls who were placed second in the competition. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, Rebecca, what are some of the things you learned from, creating this jingle?
Well, I've learned how to prevent Zika, like covering the drums, and yeah. And also, I've learned that nothing is impossible because I didn't expect for us to come this far.
I feel very proud of them.
Don't get sick, don't get sick, don't get Zika. I'm telling you now, all pregnant ladies, be wise, protect your babies. Zika is on a roll. Let's work together to keep it in control. Cover the drums, close them tight, so we can destroy all breeding sites. Use up the candle, use up the spray. Now we have to use it every day. Joint pain, headache, muscle pain too. Swelling the lower and weakness, rash too. Zika, when I want Zika, when I want Zika. A is drip time. Now we're gonna say bye.
Zika alert. Prevent the mosquito breeding site. Zika alert. No matter the mosquito bite here, we're gonna check inside and check outside and find every place where you could have had. We're gonna eradicate. We're gonna eliminate. We're gonna punch at the tire them, clean out the drain, bore up the tin them, clean out the drain, cover the drum them. Cover the drum them, scour the vase, prevent the mosquito breeding site. My name is Amoya Wong. My name is Shanika Bleachin. We are the winners of the MOH Zika Jingle and Selfie Competition 2016. I feel proud, excited, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just a joy for me and my family, friends, and my teacher.
We use the jingle also as a learning tool. We, on our PA system, morning, in the noon, even at nights.
Once the students are made more aware, then they would actually move about in a more responsible way as it relates to eliminating all the areas that we think could harbor the mosquito that caused the virus.
Zika alert. We're going to eradicate, we're going to eliminate. You're watching School Zone.
As we said earlier, it was the MOH Jingle and Selfie competition, so we had to pay a visit to the picture-taking champions.
We decided to enter them in the competition because we want the public to know that we know how to destroy mosquito breeding site. We see that as a way as well to give our school some exposure.
And the winning team leaves this message with us.
You must clean up your environment because if you don't clean it up, it's going to hurt nobody else but you.
So, talented and intelligent young people answered the call to boldly lead the way in increasing public awareness on the Zika virus. As we hear it, the Ministry of Health is looking at other avenues to keep the momentum going.
Health and family life education curriculum is one such vehicle. In terms of phase 2, what we would be looking at is how we can continue to strengthen that curriculum. We are looking at some specific projects that we can possibly do and hoping to give it a competitive edge where we can give them some prizes. So we're right now ironing out some of those things.
We're going to eradicate, we're going to eliminate. We're going to punch at the tire them, clean out the drain, bore up the tin them, clean out the drain, cover the drum them, clean out the drain.
I said be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Sexual abuse is always a very difficult thing to confront, particularly when the alleged victim is a child. Parents, if it is that you suspect that your child has been sexually abused, or is in a vulnerable set of circumstances where an abuse may occur, we encourage you to have dialogue with your child. Take the child to the pediatrician who normally attends to the child. If there is no such pediatrician, take your child to the clinic to the hospital, to some medical practitioner who can do an assessment for you. It's very important as well that we don't just look at the physical side, but we also seek to find the kind of psychosocial support that a child may need. Does the child need a session with a counselor? Does the child need to speak with a pastor who is used to dealing with these issues? Does the child need to get that ongoing psychological support to assist with the healing process and also to assist the child in becoming strong enough, as it were, to deal with the various processes that will follow once it is that you suspect an abuse has occurred? If it is that the child actually discloses, when you engage the child in discussion, that yes, mommy and daddy, I was abused, we encourage you to entertain the child, to listen to what the child has to say to you, and to take it very seriously. So we really urge you to have those discussions and to seek guidance in terms of, do I speak to the police about this, which we always say you have to. Because once a child has been sexually abused, it's a criminal matter, and it means that once at all possible, the child should be assisted to go through the processes so that the perpetrator can in fact be held accountable. Support your child and let them understand in very clear terms that they are not the cause or the reason for this abuse having been perpetrated. But the most important element is to support them, get them access to the services that they need, and give them a chance to have you give them that listening ear. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm. Thank you.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
It's National Heritage Week, has been since last Saturday, October 8, and will be until Monday, October 17. A significant element of Jamaica's heritage is its rich cultural fabric. Earlier in the year, Minister Olivia Grange outlined the government's agenda for the various sectors under her portfolio responsibility. Up next, we review the plans for culture.
We intend to make the small man, the small woman, the youth man and young daughters on the corner big.
And with that end goal, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport has set out its plans to ensure sustainable prosperity for all Jamaicans. From tapping into the creative arts and entertainment to ensuring world-class sporting facilities for athletes, all in an environment that supports gender equality, the platform has been set.
No weather sweet like Jamaica, oh, because I will not leave. Sweet Jamaica end up in a foreign land. Things we achieve, so we blessed by the Father mighty.
In seeking to make more Jamaicans aware of our rich cultural history and identity, the Creative Production and Training Center CPTC has rebranded its television station CTV as Jamvision, which is now the established cultural television station of Jamaica. Meanwhile, critical steps are being taken to preserve our rich history, with restoration work on the boyhood home of national hero Marcus Garvey to be completed by August 2017.
I have now instructed the JNHT to review the plans, to make a new submission, and to ensure that it is completed in time to be officially open next year to celebrate Garvey's birthday in August as a Jamaica 55 legacy project.
The government has also committed to expanding the Pinnacle lands in Sligoville, St. Catherine as a heritage site for the Rastafarian community. 6 lots will be developed from the 8 Pinnacle sites that will be declared by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, JNHT. Cabinet has already approved the purchase of 5 lots, with exploratory work being conducted on the 6th. And with the age-old issue of reparations still not dealt with, the minister has re-established the National Committee on Reparations with a new name and body. Its new name will be the National Council on Reparations, and it will be chaired by noted history professor Vereen Shepherd and Lalita Davis-Mattis, current chair of the JNHT. Entertainment is a big part of our culture and big business. This is why a new entertainment advisory board that comprises some of the most powerful individuals in the industry has been established. It is chaired by Lenford Salmon and Deputy Chairman Gussie Clark. The board is charged with harnessing the wealth from Jamaica's entertainment ventures. Meanwhile, discussions are to get underway shortly with the Minister of Tourism on a standards document to determine what is served to our visitors as Jamaican entertainment.
Our aim is for every visitor who arrives in Jamaica to experience the distinctive sound and images of our Jamaican music.
No weather sweet like Jamaica, oh, yeah, because I will not leave sweet Jamaica. End up in a
The JIS Heritage Competition is back. Enter your essay, poster, or photo and win big prizes. If you're aged 9 to 12 years, enter the essay competition and tell us who is your favorite Jamaican sportsman or sportswoman and why. High school students, enter the poster competition. This year's theme is Jamaica's Rich Sporting Heritage. If you're a tertiary level student, enter the photo competition. This year's theme is I Am a Sports Champion. Competition closes for all 3 categories on November 6. Get started now. For information on submission and competition guidelines, visit our website at jis.gov.jm. Call 926-359-024, extension 2137, or send an email.
You've seen the stories of Nane, Daddy Sharp, and George William Gordon. Today, Jamaica Magazine continues its Heritage Week focus with the tale of freedom fighter Paul Bogle.
One thing I want people to understand about Paul Bogle. Paul Bogle was the richest black man inside of Jamaica in 1865. He owned 503 acres of land. When you look at what Paul Bogle owned, Paul Bogle didn't have to give his life for his country.
Yet he did. And for that, he was declared a national hero in 1969, the highest honor that could be awarded by a grateful nation. The history of his life and death tells us that the journey to that pinnacle of national recognition was one fraught with danger and ultimately deadly. In the latter months of 1865, Paul Bogle and others of like mind had exhausted their tolerance for the unfair treatment being meted out to black people in colonial Jamaica. After almost 30 years of emancipation, their access to land, good wages, and civil and legal rights were being stifled, based solely on the color of their skin. Paul Bogle, a Baptist preacher from Stonygut in St. Thomas, had come to be seen as the governor of the blacks. So when he began his fateful 50-mile march to the then capital, Spanish Town, they followed and were denied the audience they sought with Governor at the time, Edward John Eyre. Paul Bogle was relentless, and the preacher and his men would later descend on the Morant Bay courthouse while it was in session, determined to have their say. History has labeled that incident the Morant Bay Rebellion. What began as a peaceful gathering to agitate for the fair and equal treatment of all citizens, black or white, ended in chaos and bloodshed. In the end, more than 430 people were killed, hundreds more flogged, 1,000 dwellings destroyed, and the courthouse razed by fire. For this rebellious act, Bogle was deemed the instigator, and in October 1865 he was captured and hanged.
Bogle has to be looked at in the context of his own actions. We need to understand that in 1865, Bogle in many respects was representing what people of his group, people of his neighborhood, people of his historical background were faced with. This is just a few years, maybe less than 30 years after emancipation. and emancipation in 1838 had simply not brought the blessings that most ex-slaves had hoped for. One blessing that they had looked for was land. That didn't come. They might also have hoped for some sense of equality. That hadn't come either. Because while in theory all Jamaicans were citizens, they were certainly not equal in the eyes of the law.
We have recourse today to many things. We have recourse to the newspapers, to the courts, to the parliament, etc. You know, we have places we can turn to. I mean, we can call up the talk show host and raise the devil. Or we can write terrible letters to the newspapers. We can demand to see our member of parliament, etc. Bogle and those guys didn't have anything like that. You know, so you can't equate the two things at all. And don't forget what they tried to do. They even wrote a letter to the Queen, you know. They walk all the way to Spanish Town to see here. I mean, these guys tried everything. They were not to be confused with agitators on the street. They were not that.
Bogle's sacrifice was not in vain. The Morantby Rebellion would become the catalyst for many developments in Jamaica. Education, health, and social services, the things for which Bogle agitated, would eventually be greatly improved. Still, the sacrifice was not all Paul Bogle's. Others who bore his name would later face prejudice and persecution for his actions on and before that fateful day.
The Morantby Rebellion, as it was called, you know, caused the Bogle family to live a bush like wild animals. My father and my grandfather told me that it was illegal to educate any Bogle in Jamaica. Many people in St. Thomas who name Bogle, they can't even relate Paul Bogle's story good enough. Because guess what? It's not something that the family get into easily. Because until this day, sad to say, but it has divided the family. The family never ever come back to what they used to be because of Morantby Rebellion.
Still, the family is proud of its elder and feels some vindication in his eventual recognition as a national hero.
What really drives a deacon that is on the pulpit, a man that is not in need of anything to do something like that, that is the broader point.
Paul Bogle, the father of 7 children, a sibling to 5 brothers, owner of his own little kingdom, a black man who in 1865 had the right to vote, was a warrior for equal rights, a man who was resolute in the fight for his people.
And that's how we draw the curtains down on Jamaica Magazine, but only for today. Another show is already in production for tomorrow. You won't want to miss it. In the meantime, our social media handles are coming on screen right now. Use them to stay in contact with us. Until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.